and YouTube. Let's do some Thursday morning movement to get the body energized and invigorated. Find your space. So hopefully you can see me there. Yes, I changed the camera yesterday, so just making sure you can see. Okay, yep, that's good. Let's start off with a little bit of knocking on the door of life. So we're rotating the spine. Take your feet about shoulder width apart. Softness in the knee, nice and tall through the spine. So lift and lengthen through the spine, using the ground. And then using the hips, just rotating through the center, really relaxing the shoulders and the upper back. Just breathing lightly, softly, in and out through the nose. So the idea is just to get some movement, some activation, some mobilization, particularly through the spine. And this particular movement is helping to rotate the spine. So you can imagine lower back, if you just bring your attention to the lower back. And just that rotation, vertebra on vertebra. And then just gradually working your way up the spine. Just awareness, just noticing. Coming up to the bottom of the ribs, so mid-back. And then come up to the upper back. So in the middle of that thoracic spine. You have much more range of motion in the upper back than in the lower back. So much more, a greater degree of possibility of rotation. Keeping the shoulders relaxed, elbows soft. And then we'll take a full breath, nice full breath in through the nose. As you do a nice long exhale out, just slow it down into water waves. And feel that contrast. So much more energy in the first move, and now a bit more softness, stillness. Still keeping tall through the spine, lifting from the crown. And then just coming to a stop and bringing your feet hip width, nice and tall, and just take a moment to balance. And play around with a balance here. Just shift the weight slightly forwards and backwards on the heel. Take the hips back, tilt the body forwards. Just find a comfortable place where you're just nice and balanced, so you feel strong through this central axis, but you can relax the shoulders, you can relax the front of the spine, you can relax the rib cage. So very much explore the different places, so you can really align yourself to gravity, to the energy of the earth. The earth will be pulling you down with gravity. Where can you relax the shoulders a little bit more? If you're leaning back, then you're having to do more work internally with the muscles to hold that position. If you're leaning forwards, having to do loads of more work with muscles as you're leaning forwards. If we find that sweet spot, where you may have a little bit more weight through the heels. The heels are designed to take the weight. And then you can get the head balanced on top of the spine and just relax the ribs here. And just play around with that for a moment. Good. Then when you're ready, step out again to your shoulder width. Let's do spinal cord breathing. So we bend our knees a little bit more. Remember with this, the pelvis is tilting. So remember that we are tilting the pelvis. So if we're spilling out, and then we're tucking the pelvis under. So we're spilling out the back. So there you're spilling out the front. Here you're spilling out the back. But also remember, when you are spilling out the front, that you need to lift the sternum and extend from here. So when you're thinking of doing a back bend, whether you're doing this in yoga or doing it like this, is don't visualize the bend coming from here, because we often think I'm going to bend my back and we just compress that lower back. Think of lifting from here and then bending back. So you're lifting that sternum up. So if you keep the knees a little bit lower, we can lift the sternum and then you're not putting so much pressure on the lower back here. And we look up to the sky, and then we tuck the pelvis, bring the elbows together, tuck the chin. So we're rounding the back, we're curling up into a little ball. And then just go gently from one to the other. We're not forcing, we're not straining. Get that movement going, and then move with the breath. So you're breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, tucking the pelvis. And on the next in-breath, just rotate to one side. So rotate and then breathe in. And then breathe out back down the center. So you rotate back to center. And then rotate to the other side. Breathe in. And back to center. So just go side to side at your own pace. For a couple more. And take a rest when you've done that. And then we'll go a little bit wider. So step out a little bit wider. So you're about a shoulder width and a bit, or shoulder width and a half a bit wider. And we're going to do side to side. And then just allow that spine to wave laterally side to side. Find going that little bit wider just stops you dropping the hips like this. So really just driving, it's like you're pushing through the ground, nice and strong through the lower body, and then the upper body can just wave. And just letting the head go. Remember, go all the way, work from the lower spine first. So you go lower back, mid back, upper back. So it's a sequence of movement from the lower spine up through the upper spine. If we can get that little bit of freedom, that lateral movement, side to side movement. And slow it down. Keeping this width, we're just going to lean a little bit onto the thighs. So I'm not putting all the weight through there. I'm just resting a little bit on the thighs. Make sure you're nice and wide. And then it's the same thing, but you're just looking at the ground. So you're moving your body like a river. You're looking at the opposite foot. So you're getting that wave through the spine. And you're just lightly resting on the thighs. You're not putting loads of weight through the thighs or on the knees. You're really using the lower body, the lower legs. Again, this is really nice. It should feel good. It should feel as if it's releasing any tightness and tension in the lower back or in the shoulders, in the neck. Slowing it down and just taking your time just to come up to standing. No rush to come up to standing. And then just walking your feet together, shaking your legs out a little bit. And let's do that little bit of a leg swing. So you're balancing. If I'm mirroring you, I'm going to stabilize and balance on my right leg. And you're just going to swing across and place the opposite leg down. Free up that swing leg. One of the best ones for just freeing up the hips a little bit. Keep tall, keep lifting tall through the spine. Keep nice and strong on that support leg. Good. Oh, nearly fell over, watching you all then on Zoom. Let's do a couple more. And then shake out. Let's do big hip circles. So feet about shoulder width, softness in the knee. This is where we are dropping the hip, circling back, dropping the hip the other side, and then coming forwards. Lift the sternum a little bit as you come forwards. Drop, and you can put your hands in that hip crease if that helps. You get a nice little stretch through the hamstrings. You just keep those legs straight as you go back, not locked. Somebody's outside. Who's outside on Zoom? Is that Julie? Doesn't look like turkey though. Let's go the other way. It looks nice. So changing directions. And take a rest. Let's see who can remember the spiral. See if I can remember the spiral. One arm out. And the hips lead, arm back through. Again, come forwards and over the head. So back through. Lengthen the spine here. This is really where often we were getting stuck here. It's lengthen the spine, open the rib cage, come back round. Open up that front of the body. Do one more on this side. And then we can swap when you're ready. Again, hips lead, so hip leads. Open up that front of the body, hips come forwards. Let's do one more. And take a rest. Let's do a bit of a shake. So tapping your heels into the ground if that feels comfortable. Letting the shoulders go. Just letting the breath go as well, so you can just allow the breath, the shaking, just to push that breath out. It can be through the nose, or it can be, if it just feels good, just a little bit through the mouth. Giving yourself a good shake. Imagine every single cell in the body just vibrating, creating energy. Shaking the wrists. And then slowing it down gradually. Go to half a shake, half the speed, half the speed. And then just come to standing for a minute and feeling energy, blood flow. Maybe taking a nice, slow, long breath in and out through the nose. And as you take that breath in, the heart rate is increasing. As you breathe out, it's really lowering the heart rate. It's relaxing the heart, relaxing, bringing relaxation and calm to the body. Good. Let's do a bit of balance. So come about hip width. Let's just start off with the arm movement. So let's do a little bit of flying. Arms flow up. Nice and soft in the arms. Bring your awareness. Oh, excuse me. Bring your awareness to the breath. And as you breathe in, arms flow up. And as you breathe out, arms flow down. And it's almost as if the breath starts the movement. So the breath in starts and then the arms flow up. I think I've swallowed a fly. And as the breath comes out, the arms float down. So there's just that start with the breath. And after the next one, we're just going to go into single leg balance. So breathe out and have an awareness now that you're going to shift the weight to the left side of the body. Breath starts, breathe in, bring that right knee up. Keep nice and tall through the spine. And breath out. And then you swap, shift the weight to the right side. Shoulders stay relaxed. Breathe in, keep that breath smooth and easy. The breath guides the movement. Soft and controlled. Totally in control. And just going at your own pace, side to side. Soft landing. So ball of the foot, heel. Strong through the standing leg, through the supporting leg. But not just the leg, going through the leg, through that side of the body, through the spine. Strong back spine. Keeping that soft front spine, front of the body. As you breathe in, you expand. As you breathe out, you soften and contract. There is a cat watching me. One more each side. And then just taking a rest. Nice. Just spending a little bit more time just getting into that rhythm, and just with that idea of the breath starts the movement. You start to breathe in, the movement follows. You breathe in and you expand, and that really helps with the balance as well, because it says to your body you're safe and you're in control. Whereas if you go, oh, I can't balance, then you're just going to wobble all over the place. Let's do some tiger. So go, I've got a dribble of coffee left. Go shoulder width apart of the feet. And remember the arms. When we're doing this with the arms, feel when you're creating that tension through the fingers, feel how that strengthens the back. Soften the fingers. You can lose a little bit of that strength in the back. So although it looks like a fun movement, and it is a fun movement, and there is an intention to sort of like clawing, it does help to engage the back muscle. So it's keeping that back spine nice and strong. So engaging the fingers, gliding the hips back. Again, just going to that comfortable place. We're not forcing. The breath is in control. And then you're pushing up through the heels, coming up standing. The other good thing that happens when you use the fingers, I'll show you from the side, is I'm keeping, even though I'm tilting forwards with my upper body, I'm keeping upright. So I'm not looking down like this. So I think we did it once before where you want to sort of like come down, but actually if you needed to look over there or move over there, you've got that sort of like ability to move, change direction. If we're down here, you can't change direction. So keep that spine strong and long, and then pushing through the heels to come up and stand tall when you come up to the top. Hips, go down with the hips, lower your center of gravity. Good. And then push up through the heels. Breathing just easy in and out through the nose. Stand tall when you come to the top. So strong arms, strong hands, strong fingers there. So it's like clawing. And then you can relax and soften the hands, soften the fingers. Use the upper body, use the lower body to, use the ground and the lower body to bring you back up to standing. Do it nice and slow. Challenge yourself a little bit deeper if that's comfortable. Don't push yourself. And challenge yourself just to come up a little bit slower. So you're really using that eccentric contraction. Squeezing, 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 coming up. Let's do 2 more. Coming up that little bit slower. And really almost like squeezing every muscle in the legs. Squeeze the muscles in the legs. Squeeze the glutes, squeezing that energy out and nice and tall. Relaxing the shoulders. 1 more. Coming up. And then when you get to the top, nice and slow. Breath in. And breath out. Crossing the hands, resting the hands on the lower dantian, bringing the feet together. And just giving yourself a moment, if it feels comfortable, to closing your eyes. Just now allowing the body to rock and sway as it feels it wants. And when you're ready, just breathing in, opening your eyes at the top of the in-breath, stepping out, maybe giving your legs a little bit of a shake, giving your lower back a little bit of a rub down the legs. Maybe giving the hips a little bit of a knock, seeing as we've been doing some work with the hips. A little bit of a shake, and we will finish there. So have a fantastic rest of the day and a good weekend. If you're in the south of the UK, stay safe with the heat wave. It's going to be very hot. If you see me in Scotland on the west coast, I think it's going to be raining and a little bit chilly. So I'm in Scotland at the weekend doing the retreat up there. Next week I'm in Portugal, but I will be here on Tuesday morning before I head off to Portugal for the breathwork. So thanks for joining. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye. Will do. You'll see the photographs. Take care.